Today's video is sponsored by War Thunder. Guys, War Thunder is one of the most elaborately designed vehicle-based combat games available. With more than 2,000 intricately designed tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships to command. It has something for every level of gamer, featuring fast-paced PvP battles at multiple levels of immersion, from arcade-style combats to all-out war. Each vehicle is lovingly designed with some of the most dynamic and detailed vehicle damage models in gaming. In fact, one of my favorite features in War Thunder is the component and crew-based damage system, as well as the X-ray camera that shows you exactly what kind of damage you've inflicted upon your opponents, rewarding players for skillfully dismantling their opponents and securing the upper hand on the battlefield. From the incredibly high fidelity 4K graphics to the immersive audio that truly captures the atmosphere of battle, every moment is jam-packed with adrenaline-fueled tactical gameplay. And you can play War Thunder today for absolutely free on PC, Xbox Series X and S, the PlayStation 5, and any previous generation console. Use our link down below in the description if you're interested in trying out War Thunder, and if you are, you can claim your free large bonus pack, which includes multiple premium vehicles, boosters, and a ton more. Thank you, War Thunder, for sponsoring today's video. We don't really make grandmaster guides as frequently anymore, but this nightfall right here definitely warrants one. This season, for the first time ever, we have a PsiOps Battleground moon in our grandmaster nightfall rotation, and this very well may be the most difficult nightfall in the game currently. Even more difficult than the Heist Battlegrounds Mars Nightfall, or even the reworked Lake of Shadows. Hell, I even find Lightblade to be easier than this Nightfall, because today, this GM ate our lunch, sending us to orbit multiple times. Which is why we have this guide here, guys. We're gonna be going over how to complete this Nightfall, the mechanics surrounding it, how to platinum the Nightfall, because currently there is a bug that even if you go through the Nightfall and kill everything and you're doing everything right, you'll get to the end just like us and realize you got gold, which I know very much sucks. We're also going to be listing down in links below builds that we use today. And by God, my Titan build literally saved me. Now I'm going to start actually with the champions you're going to be facing this week. You have unstoppable champions in this Nightfall, as well as barrier champions. A number of different weapons you can utilize against unstoppables, Leviathan's Breath. If you got a chill clip weapon like Riptide, and for barrier, Wish Ender is always a great option. However, I was actually rocking Quicksilver Storm with my build as I'm utilizing Strand. And let me tell you fellas, Quicksilver cooks. There's a reason why we have made like 3 different reviews on this auto rifle. It's just that good. You also have Glaze that you can utilize for unstoppable, as well as hand cannons. And if you want to get kind of sexy with it, you can break out Lucky Pants and Malfeasance. Lastly, for our overcharged weapon for this week, we have Machine Gun, which is a great option since this is such an ad-dense Nightfall. It also features Arc and Void Surges, so bringing in weapons matching those elements will net you that 25% extra damage. But do keep in mind, guys, there are a number of solar shields. However, we don't really have match game, so you don't necessarily have to have a solar weapon. So don't feel like you have to go out of your way. But if you want to rock something like Xenophage for machine guns and it does solar damage, by all means, go right ahead. You've got Grand Overture out there. I was rocking Commemoration, as you can get the craftable roll with Reconstruction. It's a very good machine gun. However, for the most part, I was just using Quicksilver Storm to take down everything. Now I want to talk about loadouts real quick. My Ambient Leap Strand Titan build was already good last season, and it's only gotten better. I was also pairing this with Quicksilver Storm, Forbearance, and Commemoration. This is my go-to build for GMs, and again, I linked to this down below. All that I ask is that you select these artifact mods, especially this one right here, which allows you to share Woven Mail when you get a finisher on enemies while you have Woven Mail yourself. That's a big one. Now for my Warlocks, I originally was rocking Fallen Sunstar and our Arc Warlock build, and it was doing good. You can also rock things like Well of Radiance, and pretty much always having a single well on your team will always be beneficial. But keep in mind, even in a Well of Radiance, especially in this Nightfall, you can still die. Like against Savithick here, when she starts dropping those storm attacks, she will shred you. Now Nader on my team was actually rocking Well of Radiance with Phoenix Protocol, and we were pairing this with FX's build for Hunter with Orpheus. And this is really, really nice, guys, as he was getting his tether back extremely quickly. And you see the ad density here. This combination allowed them both to chain mad amounts of orbs to each other, as well as topping off my own super. Now I'm going to start off with the encounters and mechanics throughout this nightfall. In the opening encounter, you'll actually see a heavy ammo box that you could take advantage of. And honestly, you could shoot some heavy ammo shots, but do keep in mind, guys, this does not top off your heavy. Like for like Leviathan's Breath, I get like 2 extra shots. So if you're like, ooh, there's heavy, and then you blow your entire heavy load, suddenly you're gonna realize you have no heavy, as that doesn't fully top you off. Now in this opening area, you're gonna have a Barrier Knight and an Unstoppable Ogre spawn. Again, this is where Ambient Leap is so good. I'm literally just popping my barricade and suspending everything, and then letting Quicksilver Storm do its thing. Now, if you see me using Quicksilver Storm and you're noticing that I'm actually shooting the grenade launcher portion of it faster than what it normally can shoot, again, this works on controller and mouse and keyboard. As you're shooting the GL form of Quicksilver Storm, if you want to spam shots, simply tap the reload button. Like reload for me is R. You tap R over and over while you're shooting the weapon in its GL form. This bypasses the animation and allows you to shoot the weapon more quickly. Now, going into the next part of this entire bridge area, this is a very crucial spot if you're trying to get platinum, which I think all of us are, as we're trying to get the Braytech Osprey Adept, which is the nightfall reward for this week. The grandmaster currently right now is bugged, and it sucks because even if you beat it, it's very likely you will get a gold rating. Do not push forward past the first overpass where enemies spawn at the start, as this will spawn a light bearer hive. Instead, you want to hang out on this platform and kill ads and champions from afar until you see the objective update on the left-hand side of your screen. Now, you'll be here for a while, as you need to wait for 3 barrier champions and 3 unstoppable champions to spawn, as well as that higher health hive knight called Blistered Knights, and they all have to make their way to you. But unfortunately right now, you have to do this to get all the champions to spawn and for this to still count towards platinum. Believe me, guys, this needs to be fixed. It's very annoying. Now, after you kill the remaining champions, wait until the objective on your left side of the screen updates from crush the Lucent Hive forces to now enter the ritual chamber. Once you see this text change, you're clear to move forward. Big shout out to Saul Greppa on this one, as we actually found this out from him on Twitter. Next, you need to then kill the anti-barrier champions that spawn near the exit and make your way down to the next encounter. Now, this next area is a very tough room. Get ready to be here for a while. You have to dunk 12 burden of tributes that drop from wizards that spawn in. You then have to run around this room, dunk these things, while simultaneously an infinite amount of ads keep spawning. If you're killing ads and you're like, dude, this is endless, they don't seem to stop, that's because they literally won't stop. Now keep in mind to dunk these burden of tributes, there's no timer. However, when you do kill these hive wizards, that little mote that they drop will go away. So you definitely want to go over there, pick it up as quickly as you can, and dunk it at each one of these areas. Now, each one of these will require 4 burdens to be dunked, and when they're dunked, those crystals will explode, allowing you to move on to the other areas. Now, throughout this, there will also be 2 hive guardians that spawn after dunking the first 4 burdens. And guys, they will wreck you. You may be like, yo, I have all this distance between me and this hive guardian. There's no way their souped up blade barrage can reach us. You would be wrong. We literally got team wiped, Nader, myself, and FX in one single barrage. No lie, I'm impressed with how good hive guardians are. Like, I literally pushed up on one, popped a chaos reach, and the hive guardian dipped behind the pillar and baited my super out. Now, either side will get a hive guardian. And really, guys, you want to choose one side or the other and just commit with your team. I was pushing up, I was going for the suspend, I was popping my supers, I was going for the kill. Do not try to play around with these hive guardians. Now, I will say this, FX actually swapped to suppressor grenades, and that was so nice. Having that suppression, just in case, whenever they do pop their super, if you need to just throw it over there, if you're rocking Void 3.0, that can save your entire team. Now, throughout this, Unstoppable Ogres will also be spawning in, ads will also keep pouring in, and those wizards, even after killing them, when they drop those burden of tributes, if you don't dunk them, the game will just be like, yo, they want more wizards because they need more tributes, therefore, they'll keep spawning. So again, guys, when they drop, move and dunk those things as quickly as you can. And honestly, Invis here is really, really nice. On my Titan, I was playing pretty aggressively, but I was able to do so because I was moving around a bunch, popping my barricade. I had Ambient Leap on in this this build and granting myself woven mail over and over. Now, upon dunking that final tribute, all the ads will despawn except for like the acolytes. They like to hang around a bit, and now you're free to move on to the next area. Now, there's gonna be this very long pathway, and if you're like Cross, this just looks like a previous nightfall that we've had before, maybe from Shadowkeep, but just us going backwards. Well, you're exactly right. That's exactly what this is. But continue on this path, and you'll see 2 unstoppable ogres at the end here, as well as our beloved Darnell trying to 1v2 him, unsuccessfully, I might add. We try to save him every time, right? My man gets shredded every single time. But take out these unstoppable champions, and then the boss will spawn in. Korosek, a Lucent Hive wizard. And you'll have to actually knock the health bar down by a quarter before the Scions spawn in, capture it, which will then teleport you to the final boss room, which brings us to the room that can be a room of hell if you don't play it correctly. This is a room that can sneak up on you quickly, guys. It can get hectic very fast. If you're sitting behind the wall and you're like, yo, I'm safe, think again. That storm attack will find you and kill you. The ads are one thing. It's really the boss, though, that's the most dangerous. But popping a tether in the middle and laying down a well of radiance before you start this encounter is really good. What this allows you to do is the moment the encounter starts, it tops off your supers. So one and done supers, like a tether or a well, can immediately be discharged, and then you can gain it right back after the encounter starts. So keep that in mind. Now, this starts off with you just doing damage to the boss like normal. But upon getting your health down by a third, they'll disappear and a new objective will update, which states, destroy the aspects of Savathun. Now, if you remember from Season the Risen, the Synaptic Spear will spawn, and this is what you actually need to use to do damage to the aspect of Savathun. Now, throughout this process, a Barrier Knight and an Unstoppable Champion will also spawn. Now, in order to actually bring her health down, everyone on the team needs to pick up a spear, but I do highly recommend not everyone run in and pick up that spear at the exact same time, as just in case Savathik here decides to rain down that storm attack, she won't get a triple down and send you back to orbit. But the spear does enough damage to do roughly a third of this aspect's health. So if all 3 of you grab a spear, you guys can easily take down a single aspect together. Now keep in mind, there's a couple ways you can go about doing this. You can either just jump around and throw these spear attacks over and over and hopefully not get hit. Like, there is a pattern here to the attacks and you can get out of the way. It's just when it's that big AoE storm attack, that's whenever it's trouble. Because if you're anywhere close to that, it's gonna kill you. Again, even if you're behind a wall, it will still kill you. Now, what you can also do is jump back to the previous platform. When you jump back to it, if you land on the rock, it'll give you a prompt that you are out of bounds. But if you jump up on the platform itself, you're actually safe here. And the Synaptic Spear actually has tracking. So what you can do is just sit back and do damage from this. Granted, it does count down the charges. So by the time you get back here, you could be out of charge unless you use the blink feature to get back. Again, this is only if you're in a hairy situation and you want to just put some distance between you and the boss. Again, Savathik can still hit you, but not with that huge AoE storm attack, just the blast. Now, in order to actually blink with the spear, just simply press your grenade button. This will allow you to blink, and it's a pretty far blink. Keep in mind though, coming out of it doesn't really help your momentum. You can double blink, but if you have like this downward momentum, you'll just go straight down and die if you're trying to make it back to this platform. Now, once Savathun's aspect is killed, the boss will spawn back in, and you need to get their health down to where there's only a third of it left. I was originally doing damage with Leviathan's Breath, by the way, and it was shredding this boss's health. Now, once this boss goes immune this time and disappears, you're now gonna have to take down 2 aspects of Savathun, 1 on either side. However, they move around a bunch. I would honestly advise just you and your teammates locking down 1 area together. Keep distance from Savathun, and as soon as she like pushes up, dude, get away. Always assume Savathik is pushing up to drop that AoE storm attack, which will kill everyone. But until she pushes up, throw these spears, man. Throw them as fast as you can. And you can just pick up another one as soon as you actually throw all those charges. Now, upon dealing with both of these aspects, the boss will spawn back in for the final phase of damage. Pop your supers, guys, use your well, kill the ads, and again, you can always fall back and literally sit back on this platform. You'll have to dodge a couple attacks here and there, but you can just sit back here and use Wish Ender if you want. I get a little impatient, so I push up with my super. Overall, guys, this is a very challenging nightfall. We're gonna continue doing runs this week to really narrow down the best way we know how to fully optimize this thing, as I felt really good about my build and my team's build, but I feel like we could do even better. For those trying to get the Braytech Osprey rocket launcher, is this worth your time? Well, first up, it's a high impact rocket, which I know Not necessarily the best, but it does void damage, and it's got some interesting combinations that I really want to try. Chain reaction, cluster bombs, destabilizing rounds and cluster bombs. I know, not necessarily the DPS powerhouse you're hoping for. It also has bipod, which I know bipod is not great, but Bungie claims they're going to be buffing bipod at some point. So perhaps you can future-proof yourself. Envious Assassin, bipod, combine those two perks together. I'm curious to see where this rocket launcher sits next season. Regardless though, this is a very challenging Nightfall. I wish you all the best of luck. Be proud of yourself if you beat this one, guys. It's a doozy. And if you're interested in trying out War Thunder, use our link down below in the description. Play War Thunder today for absolutely free. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.